For the next several videos, we're going to be talking about how we live out our faith in the various spaces where we live out our faith. At home, in the church, and in the world. This video, we're focusing on living out our faith at home.
That's right. And when it comes to practicing our faith in our individual lives, there is nothing more central than prayer. For as long as human beings have been on this earth, we have been praying.
Yeah.
Prayer is, put simply, conversing with God, talking to and listening to God. That's it. For all of the theology behind it, all of the methods that we will discuss, we never want to lose sight of the simple fact that all any of us have to do to pray is simply take the time to talk with and listen to God. It doesn't matter where you are, who you're with, or what you're doing.
But it does matter how you pray. In Matthew chapter 6, in the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus warns us against two ways not to pray. The first we'll call performance prayer, and the second we'll call magical prayer.
First, Jesus warns us against performance prayer. He says this, "And when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by others. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you."
Is Jesus saying that the only kind of prayer God listens to is secret prayer? What about the prayers we say in church or together before meals? Is Jesus saying that's all wrong?
Well, not exactly. One big clue is that Jesus himself, from time to time, prays in front of other people. See, it's not the presence of others, but rather our performance for others that makes prayer hypocritical. In fact, the word hypocrite that Jesus uses comes from a Greek word that just means actor. If you're pretending to talk with God, but you're actually talking for the benefit of the listening ears around you, maybe to look really holy in front of them or to look really compassionate in front of them, Jesus says, you're not praying, you're acting.
And why would we need to do that? Jesus says, you really have your Father's full attention, even when no one else is watching. You don't need anyone else's eyes on you.
Yeah. Prayer is fundamentally about our relationship with God. So religious performance for other people has no place in it. And because prayer is about our relationship with God, who is a real personal being and not just some mystical, unfeeling force or power in the universe, Jesus also rules out what we'll call magical prayer.
Magical prayer is when you try to say just the right things in the right way or in the right amount so God has to listen to you, so that he has to do whatever it says that you want. Jesus says,
Wow.
and when you pray, do not keep on babbling like pagans, for they think they will be heard because of their many words. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him.
There were people, you see, in Jesus' day, the ones he refers to here as pagans, who thought that if they said things over and over and over again, they could force God to listen to them. In fact, some scholars think that Jesus might even be referring here to a practice where people would repeat the same word over and over and over, almost like a mantra or an incantation. And by doing that, God would be forced by some principle of the universe to respond.
But God is not a force. He's not a mist. He's not an impersonal power. God, Jesus says, is our Father. He already knows what we need and he cares about our requests. Why would we need to force him to do anything?
Exactly. You see, sometimes in prayer, we treat God like he's not listening or like he doesn't care. We think that if we can say just the right thing the right way or in the right number of times, then we can get God to listen. But Jesus says our Father is already listening. He's totally engaged with us.
In fact, Jesus' warning against magical prayer is a hidden key to answering the question, why pray? What's the point? Sometimes we ask that question It's coming from an assumption that prayer only works if we get what we ask for. But the point of prayer is not the stuff we may get. The point of prayer is our relationship with God the Father.
Yeah. So do you see what Jesus is saying? The antidote to performance prayer and magical prayer is the same thing. Faith.
Yes.
Relational trust. When we trust that our Father's attention is fully given to us, we don't need to perform for others. When we have faith that our Father already knows and cares about our needs, we don't need to try and force his hand.
Real prayer requires real faith. And as it turns out, real prayer actually builds real faith too. And that's just what Jesus and we will turn to in the next video.